Hey, hold up. My daughter's calling me. Hold on. Turn it down real quick. Hello? Hey, how you doing, baby girl? What's going on? What you mean they got you pulled over? You afraid? You're scared? Well, where you at? Hey, listen, your location's on. Just hang up the phone. Do what the officers tell you. I'm on my way. Just do what they tell you to do. I'm on my way, baby. Check this out, fellas. I'll be back, man. My daughter, they got her pulled over, man. I'm going to just go make sure she's cool. She say she's scared. But let me handle this situation, and I'll be back in a minute, man. Damn, I'm trying to get there as fast as I can, but I got to, I can't speed. But I done called my daughter 3 or 4 times. She's not answering, but I told her to just chill out. So she's probably just not answering her phone, doing everything that the officers told her. And what is going on? All these police officers, all these ambulances out here for a simple traffic. I know they didn't, and my daughter's not answering the phone. Please, Lord, don't let this be what I think it might be. Please. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. I'ma just be honest with you all. I'm not in the best of moods today. Not sure if you all are familiar with the Sonya Massey case up in Springfield, Illinois that happened a couple weeks ago. Actually, slightly more than a couple weeks ago. Where you had this deputy, Sean Grayson, gun her down like a dog in the streets. Now, this is a case that I just became familiar with. For whatever reason, I didn't hear about this situation until yesterday. I looked online. I did my research. Read everything that they had because I wasn't really ready to look at that video. I decided last night to actually view the video. It was about 2:30 a.m. And when I tell you I didn't sleep the entire night, I literally could not sleep the entire night. So if y'all are unfamiliar with this case, simply Google Sonya, Sonya, Massey, Massey. And when you put her name in the search engine, you'll see exactly what I'm speaking of. Now, before I go on further with this story, I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that all my videos are guaranteed to be 30 minutes or longer. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you're having a bad day, you're dragging at work, just don't want to be there, people around you getting on your nerves, you're on your way home from work, you're trying to take a nap, you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whenever you actually listen to this video. You need to cry, you need to laugh, or you're just in the mood for a good old true penitentiary story. This is the channel for you. Now, unfortunately, today, it's not going to be too many laughs involved after you all hear this story, especially the ones that are unfamiliar with this story. Got a black lady. She calls the police. She calls the police. Key phrase, key sentence. Police comes out. She thinks that she's hearing things, or she feels as though, I'm not exactly sure why she called the police, but she called the police. I think she heard some sounds or, something like that. It wasn't a prank call or anything like that. She didn't feel comfortable. So she called the police, 911. They come out. Got 2 officers come to the door. Now, this deputy, Sean Grayson, I don't know how tall he was, but the dude looked huge. Normally, I would say he was about 5'11", but this is not a joking video. This dude seemed to tower over top of her. She was a very small in stature, if you will, woman. The other deputy comes in, officer, whatever he is, he comes in the house just as well. She's very calm, very respectful. She's sitting down in her chair in her living room. The officers are looking around the house. So you have Officer Sean Grayson is sitting there. Well, he's standing. He's talking to her. And the other officer, I guess he's, looking around the house or what have you. They ask her for her ID. She gives them absolutely no resistance, no problems whatsoever. Now, before asking for the ID, they was asking her information. She's saying her name, saying her, whatever information that they felt as though they needed. So Deputy Sean Grayson, the tough guy, he says it'd just be better if you, give me your ID. No problem. She gives him the ID. There's absolutely no issue. The lady's sitting there, she has a robe on. Now you could tell that she's, I don't necessarily want to say wasn't all the way there, but for lack of better terms, and I mean no disrespect for that whatsoever. It's not as though she wasn't all the way there. It just seemed like, she was just, just kind of off just a little bit though. But she was very respectful to them officers. They noticed that there's some boiling water on the stove. I guess she was in the process of cooking. So the tough guy, Deputy Sean Grayson, felt some type of way. I guess he felt a discomfort, if you will. So he asked her to go over there and shut the stove down. Cut the water off. Once again, no problem. She goes over there. She's cutting the water off. He says something to her. She says something back. And she goes on to say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Now, he's quite a distance from her at this point. If I had to guess, because I'm watching it on video, it was a small apartment. So he's in the living room. She's in the kitchen. The two are attached. So if I'm guessing, he's probably 10, 12 feet away from her. Easily. Probably maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. But he's a distance away from her. He was like, what you say? Now, this is not word for word. It's pretty much word for word, but some of it I'm paraphrasing. What did you say? I will shoot you in your face, B word. An officer, a deputy, someone who's sworn in to protect and to serve, tells this woman in her own house, I will shoot you in your face, B word. I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I don't want no problems. Ducks down behind the counter. Ducks down behind the counter. Now, the other officer, I guess he's still, walking around the house. The house he's kind of out of the picture. Now, this is the video that I watched. I only watched one video. I couldn't stand to watch it any longer. It was like 3 minutes long. Next thing I know, bow, bow, bow. He did what he promised to do. Deputy Sean Grayson shoots this lady in the face. No reason. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. No reason. The other officer runs into the scene, so now you can see him. He's pointing his gun. What are you pointing your gun for, man? You all in this lady's house. She called the police, and you got two officers pointing the gun. Actually, I believe the other officer pointed the gun once he seen Deputy Sean Grayson pointing his gun. So part of me feels as though he should be charged just as well. But at the same time, perhaps he was in another room, and he didn't fully understand what was going on. So when he seen this officer, this deputy rather, with his gun out, he automatically pulled his gun out. So you would want to be like, well, why don't you, try to calm him down? Why didn't you, hey, man, just chill out. He didn't really have an opportunity. And this is not me taking up for the other officer. I'm just going by what I actually seen on that video. The other officer, he's trying to get help. He's trying to, essentially, Deputy Sean Grayson, ain't no help for her. One to the head. Now she did. The B word's gone. You just shot somebody down like a dog in the street. A dog don't even deserve to be shot down in the street. Nobody does. No animal, no nothing. So it's just a term that I'm using. And there was no remorse. There was nothing. Now, his body cam wasn't on until after the fact. His body cam was not on until after the fact. Thank goodness that the other officer that was there, his body cam was on. And captured the entire situation. So much that when Deputy Sean Grayson, he's immediately arrested. Immediately. He goes to court. Now, it's not that same night or anything like that, but once they view the surveillance and what have you, they determine, oh no. He's immediately taken into custody. He goes before the judge for an arraignment. His cocksucking attorneys argued that he should be released because he's not a threat to the community. He's not a flight risk. He's been on the police force for however many years. Oh, and mind you, he's been fired from like 3 or 4 other police stations. The dude had multiple DUIs, multiple convictions, but somehow, that's the thing about the police. The same police that Donald Trump wants to set immunity for, the same police. When you're at one police station and you get into some trouble or things don't work out, or you can just go to another one. Like the dudes up in Louisville, Kentucky. The dude that shot Breonna Taylor. Say her name, Breonna Taylor, when she was in her own home and they came in with a no-knock warrant and unalived her in her own home. This fool just went to another jurisdiction and got a job. See, you're a police officer and you can unalive people all day long and it's all good. But if you're a convicted felon, oh man, don't let you have no credit cards, convictions or checks or a small amount of drugs, or get caught with a gun because you're not trying to hurt anybody, just for your protection. Or child support, or driving on suspended too many times, or driving on with no insurance too many times, or you can never, ever, ever in life have a gun again. But these officers literally get away with murder. And it happens over and over and over and over again. You can't say that it doesn't happen because there's proof in the pudding. About a month ago, roughly, got a black officer, 23 years old. He's in the Air Force. Sheriff comes banging on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. He's banging on the door. The officer doesn't know what's going on. He's, he's looking out the peephole, but he can't see because the sheriff is standing to the side of the door, so he can't be seen. But he's banging on the door. Open up, police. Open up, police. 23-year-old officer, once again, was in the Air Force. Of course, he was black. He has his gun. So when he opens the door, he has his gun down. He's not pointing it at the officer. He has his gun down to his side. I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know who it was. Back up. Take 3 steps back. Eric complies. Steps back. Never raises his gun. Never. Bow, bow, bow. Unalives him. Unalives him. His wife was on FaceTime the entire time. As I mentioned, these things just continuously happen over and over again. We're not even going to mention George Floyd. We all seen what happened with that. What's his name? Derek Chauvin? Chauvin? What did he get? 22 years? Is that nearly enough for what he did? Oh, no. George Floyd, he died of it's a proven fact he died of an overdose. Oh, yeah? Did he? Did he really? You had your knee on this man's neck for an extended amount of minutes, but he passed away of an overdose. What about the white cop years ago when they had the man on the ground, a black man, once again, on the ground, on his stomach, hands behind his back? It's 4 or 5 cops holding him, holding his legs, holding his shoulders. What harm is he? He's handcuffed, face down in the ground. They're telling him to be still, don't move. He continues to move. She pulls her gun out, shoots him in his back, unalives him. Oh, I thought it was my taser. Did you? She goes to trial and gets 2 years. Probably back on the police force at this point. Not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. What does Hassan Campbell say? Shall we begin? Shall I continue on? Because I got many, many more situations. How about the young man, and I can't remember his name, that was up in, I believe, Georgia? He was tired, so he pulled over in a Wendy's parking lot, wasn't bothering anybody, went to sleep in his car, only to wake up to banging on the glass. Police officers. I was just asleep, officer. I wasn't bothering nobody. I don't want no trouble. He don't got anything on him. They run his information. As they're running his information, he's no longer in the car. He's standing outside of the car. He has a warrant for his arrest, but it's something minor, minute. It was a misdemeanor. Nothing violent. It wasn't a felony or anything like that. He don't want to go to jail. He takes off running. Should he have taken off running? No. Bow, bow. Gun him in his back, unalived, because he took off running. What about the young lady that came out of the store? Either she was at a grocery store, or I want to say it was a grocery store. She had a child in the car with her. Police officers, ma'am, we got a call that there was some shoplifting going on. I didn't take anything, sir. We're going to have to ask you to step out of the car. For what, sir? Step out of the car, ma'am. I didn't do anything, sir. I guess the Klansman, the other officer, my fault, that was in the vehicle. He gets out of the car all aggressively with his gun pointed at her. Step out of the car. She got her kid in the car. You got your gun pointed at her. She didn't even do anything. She slowly starts to take off. When I say slowly, I'm talking maybe 2 miles an hour. Like that slow. The car was barely moving. Bow, bow, bow. Unalives her. Baby in the car. How about the black dude up in Cincinnati? Little young dude, man, was on the campus. I believe he went to the University of Cincinnati. If he didn't, he was on the campus. Officers pulled him over because his license plate was like illuminated, something stupid. He don't want to get out of the car. He's afraid for his life. Guess what happens? Bam, 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 unalived. No weapons, no threat, absolutely nothing. So you have these police officers that are full of hatred. You got these police officers that legitimately don't like black people. I said it, and I'm going to continue to say it. And so, knowing that there are cameras, knowing that you have a body cam on, knowing that it's people who have their phones out, it's surveillance. That hatred that they have for us is so deep that at that particular moment, they lose it. And it don't matter who sees it or how many people that's out there. Because typically they get away with it. And if they don't, it's a slap on the wrist. As I mentioned, the white lady shoots that man in his back while he's on his stomach, handcuffed with his hands behind his back, and you say that you thought that it was your taser. And gets 2 years. 2 years. I know many, many more situations. I could go on and go on and go on, but I think at this point you all get where I'm going with this. Now, it's not always a black and white thing. But typically it is. You have so much hatred for these black people that you're willing to just risk it all and just unalive them no matter who's around. When it's not even necessary. And you wonder why the majority of us, we're afraid of the police. When we see those blue lights, it's not the same for everybody. So you got certain people that they'll just pull over, hey, how you doing, officer? License, registration. They check the insurance. If they even do it, go on about their merry way. But when it comes to us, we might not even make it past that traffic stop. What about the situation, and I forget where this was at, but it wasn't long ago, when they had the black man pulled over. Actually, it was a woman. She's reaching in her glove box like the officer tells her to do. You got one officer on this side, one on the passenger side. She's reaching in their glove box to get her registration out. Boom, unalived. And the excuse is, we were afraid for our life. We thought she had something. Now you're afraid. Now you're afraid. You got the upper hand. They don't have anything whatsoever. Why ask them to go into the glove compartment or the console if you're afraid? How am I supposed to give you what you requested me to give you if you're afraid? Miraculously, all the body cams, not all of them, but a lot of times the body cam just it was broke. It wasn't working at the time. But this is no surprise to me because this has been going on for years and years and years. How many times the racist police? Now, when I say the racist police, I'm not talking about all police, okay? I'm not talking about all police. Sure, you got good people and you got bad people. That's basically what it comes down to. You got good people and you got bad people. And these racist son bitches are devils with a badge and a blue uniform. And they continuously hire them and hire them and hire them. Your granddaddy was a police. Your daddy was a police. So you're a police. Perhaps one of them were crooked. I don't know the ins and outs, the intricacies. How many people go to jail for no reason? Just because they're black? This happens to white people too, just as well. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. This happens. How many people, police plant stuff on people? Make up charges. Trump up charges. Pull you over for no reason whatsoever. And so I applaud that judge for not giving Deputy Sean Grayson a bond. He's in jail with no bond, and I hope it stays that way. I don't know how the court system works, but in Kentucky, he'll start off with one judge, but once he goes to felony court, he'll have a felony judge. That judge can go back and revisit, bond or what have you, and decide if they're going to allow him to get out on bond. Well, he's chronically ill or what have you, and the facility can't accommodate his illness. Should have thought about that, man, before you told that woman that you shoot in her face. That woman, no disrespect, being Sonya Massey. I don't know if Illinois has the death penalty. But if there was ever a time for it, this is it. Because to me, that was premeditated. You told her what you was going to do. Even though she complied, she was obviously afraid for her life. And you shot that woman in the face, man. So if there's ever an opportunity, a situation for a death penalty, it should be this case. Marching. The violence must stop. Picketing. Whatever you want to call it. Walking around with the picket sign. It's not helping. It's not going to help. Hasn't helped. We can take us all the way back to the Rodney King beating. Clearly on video getting beating the shit out of Rodney King. In the streets. All them COs. And what happens? We know what happened. Who got convicted? We know. This is never going to stop until the punishment is so harsh on these officers that even the racist ones is going to think twice. Start giving these officers the death penalty. Start giving these officers life without parole. Stop protecting them when they do go into the system and putting them in, special facilities for officers or protective custody. No, you was a tough guy. I'm looking at his picture. Oh yeah, you look like you a tough guy. Deputy Sean Grayson. Now you going to that penitentiary in Chicago, baby. Lions, tigers, birds, goons, gorillas. Gorillas. And they going to be on your ass. They going to be on your ass. I don't even know if the groups that... First of all, you were a former officer. So nobody's really going to be rocking with you like that. And if they do, they're going to be extorting you. Yeah, we'll protect you, but you're going to pay us every week. So the other groups, organizations, which I don't even want to give them clowns no shine. I don't even want to mention their names. They probably ain't even going to rock with you for real. Protective custody ain't going to save you in prison, big boy. It's not going to save you in prison, man. But I'd really be surprised if he makes it there. I see this guy taking himself out. Don't know him, never met him, obviously. But he's obviously a coward. I see him taking his own self out. He's not trying to... He can't stand the rain. He knows it. He can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop... You know what I'm saying? He can't stop the rain, man, because it's coming. Pause. And it's good for him, man. Senseless. Senseless. You call the police because these are supposed to be the people that protect and serve you. I'm doing the right thing. I'm not going to have a weapon. I'm not going to have a gun. Now, she wasn't a felon, but I'm just using this as an example. You're a felon. I can't have a gun. I'm going to stay out of prison, do what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, 911, I'm hearing strange sounds, or I think somebody might be trying to get in my window or break in my house. Could you all come out? You come out. And next thing you know, you the one that's toe tagged. You the one that got that black sheet over top of you. And you call the police. And they the very ones that play Jason. That play Michael Myers. What about them 5 police officers in Memphis? All black. That unalived that young man. He was driving, pulled him over, pulled him out of the car, beat the brakes off of him, beat him. All because allegedly, the dude that was the head of that squad or the head of that unit or whatever, the gang unit or whatever, this dude wasn't even a criminal that they beat. All because allegedly he was kicking it with the officer's baby's mama. I just made a video yesterday about that. A dude will unalive you quicker than anything else over a woman. I just made a video about that. These clowns, they in Tennessee. They gonna have it rough in prison. They're out on bond, though. All of them's out on bond. So it's not just the white officers unaliving black people. But most of the time, that's just what it is. Say, real Kens, why can't you stand police? I'm giving you a prime example. Can't stand them. Are they necessary? The good ones? Yeah, they're necessary. If somebody's breaking in and your child is in the house, your mother's in the house, you can't get there and you call the police, you expect them to go and you know, do what they got to do the right thing. You don't expect to come home and your mother's laying there on the ground with the yellow tape around the scene. If it's a yellow tape around the scene, you want it to be the intruder or whoever was you know, in the wrong. If it has to be that way, preferably nobody. But the person that called the police, the victim, becomes another victim. And then there's absolutely no remorse. And then after the fact you do it, you refer to her as a B word. She took a headshot. Ain't no sense of calling the paramedic. She's gone. Man, this dude should get the death penalty, man. But quietly, I wouldn't even want him to get the death penalty now that I really think about it. Because if he is unable to successfully take himself out, I'm sure they got him on suicide watch. Suicide watch means they take all your clothing away from you. You can't have anything. You're in a suit. They call it a paper suit. They got like the Velcro on it. That's all you got. You got a mat. You don't get no blanket. When they feed you your food, you don't get no silverware. Like, you never get silverware, but like you don't get any plastic forks or knives or anything to where you could cut yourself. Nothing where you can hang yourself. Nothing. All you get is that mat. You're going to get your tray, and it's called finger food. You can get your tray and a styrofoam, your food rather than a styrofoam tray, and that's all. You can't have no pencils, no pens, no nothing. You want to take yourself out, though? Go ahead, man. Swan dive off the table. Matter of fact, I don't even think they put any of that in there. They take all the tables out. Your mat's on the floor. You don't even have a bed. You don't even have a table. You don't have nothing. Swan dive off the top of the toilet. Couldn't sleep all night after. And I didn't want to watch the video because I knew that it was going to affect me this way. And it's so sad that anytime these things occur, it's like, what else is new? It doesn't even surprise you at this point. Just another black person killed by the police. Just another black person killed by the police. Unalived by the police for no reason. And you got these racists that jump in the comments. Well, just like with the individual that was at the Wendy's parking lot. Well, he shouldn't have ran. No, he shouldn't have ran. Did he deserve to be gunned down in his back? You couldn't use a taser. You all had cars. You couldn't just jump in your car. He can only run so fast. You think he Usain Bolt out this motherfucker? You could have easily just ran him down. But nah. That wasn't what you were trying to do. See, you seen an opportunity. You seen an opportunity, and that's what you did. I don't respect police officers, man, for the simple fact they're a part of a corrupt organization. You know that this is corrupt. Oftentimes you turn your head and act as though you didn't see it. Act as though you don't know what's going on. Well, I don't act this way. I'm fair to everybody I pull over. I'm fair. Yeah, but what about all the individuals that you know that's not? As I mentioned, this has been going on for so many years. It's just cameras now. See, a gun is not your best weapon. Your phone is. Your camera. That's your best weapon. Because think about all the times, once again, that this has happened years ago where there was no technology the way that it was. Or the way that it is, rather. And so you have people pleading their case, if they're even alive to do so. And who believes them? Nobody. But it was true all along. I told a story. I noticed that the police officers were following me. Supposedly I was under investigation. Counterfeit money. Counterfeit money. Counterfeit money and counterfeit checks. I noticed that the officers following me. But he's 4 or 5 cars behind me. But the way that he came, like, turning that corner when he seen me drive past, because I drove past a police scene. It's crazy. It's crazy how it happened. And the officer recognized me. He was an undercover. I never even knew this. I've never seen this officer a day in my life. But I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him look at me. Man, this dude looked like a police. I drive to the end of the street. I get to the end of the street. It's a one-way. I make that right-hand turn onto another street. When I make the right-hand turn, I see his car. Well, actually, it wasn't right when I made the right-hand turn, but once I make the right turn and I go maybe, I don't know, 100 feet maybe, I'm looking at my rear view and I see that undercover car flying around the corner. I knew something wasn't right. But I didn't want to take him on a high-speed chase or anything like that. And then I didn't know if I was, tripping, if I was imagining things. He's way, way behind me. There's several cars in between us. But I see him speeding up, going around cars. Oh, snap, they coming for me. I got this counterfeit. I'm taking the counterfeit, turning it up, throwing it out the window. I get it all out the window. When I threw it out the window, his car was nowhere near me. This is like in July. There's no wind blowing anything. He pulls me over. When he pulls me over, because he follows me for a little bit, when he cuts his siren on or whatever and pulls me over, the truck that was in front of me pulls over too. I don't know why, but they pull over. They jump out with their guns. One comes in my car, my truck, one goes to the other truck. They got their guns. What'd you throw out the car? What'd you throw out the window? People in front of me, he's like, oh, we didn't throw anything out of the window. What did you throw out the window? They're saying the same thing to me. I get arrested. Possession of counterfeit. We have an evidentiary hearing months later. My lawyer, Kate Dunn, she ain't shit. Charged me all that money. She's not shit. As most attorneys are not. They're going to get that money out of you and try to get you to take a plea deal, or they're not going to. They ain't shit. Evidentiary hearings, suppression hearings, the same thing. We trying to get the whole stop thrown out. This fool of a detective comes to court and says that I have been under investigation for the last 4, 5, 6 months. So he sees me ride past a crime scene. It was a hell of an investigation. I ride past a scene that I ain't have nothing to do with. He recognizes me and they follow me because they thought that it was a hell of a coincidence that I ride past a crime scene in which the crime that they were investigating, that's my MO. It was crazy. I must admit. This fool says to the judge, under oath, that the reason they pulled me over is because when they seen paper flying out of the window, a piece of the counterfeit landed on his windshield, and he was able to tell that it was counterfeit money. So therefore, that was probable cause for pulling me over. You seen me throwing this counterfeit out of the window, but yet you go to the truck that's in front of me with your gun out. What did you throw out of the window? So my lawyer is questioning him on the stands. He's all nervous, sweating, drinking his water, and he can't really explain it. So my lawyer's like, Your Honor, based on the fact that they don't know who threw it out of the window, this counterfeit out of the window, it should be thrown out. The judge rules against us. It doesn't matter about who threw it out the window. Mr. Kins, he was under investigation for the last 4, 5, 6 months. So at any given time that they feel the need to pull him over, they can. My lawyer's arguing. She's arguing back and forth, man. It got to the point to where that racism came out of the judge. He turned red. He turned red as a devil. And looked like his horns came up, and he said, Miss Dunn, by God, if I have to tell you one more time to shut your mouth, I'm going to take you into custody. And you're going to do 20 days for contempt. His whole voice changed. Initially, it was Miss Dunn and Mr. Kins, and, we're here for a suppression hearing, evidentiary hearing, and basically how this works is, it was how his voice initially was, to, by God, shut your mouth. The judge is talking so bad to where Kate Dunn starts crying. She's a 60-something-year-old lady. She starts crying in court, tears coming down her eyes. I'm sitting there. I don't get a chance to say anything. Obviously, I'm just sitting there. Officer got a little smirk on his bitch-ass face. I got to take a plea. I can't go to... What am I going to do? How I'm going to beat this? Truth of the matter is I did throw it out of the window, but there's no way that it landed on his car. He was so far behind me, there's no possible way in hell. But the point that I'm making is how prosecutors will say anything, detectives will say anything, and the judge, 9 times out of 10, 9.99999 times out of 10 is going to go along with it. So again, I applied the prosecution in this case, Springfield, Illinois, where it took place. Once again, I applied the judge. One thing I didn't like about the judge, when the family heard the judge deny bond, they were cheering and clapping. And I ain't like the fact that he told them and threatened them to throw them out of the courtroom. I ain't like it. I understand that you have to remain professional and calm, but your relative, somebody's daughter, somebody's niece, auntie, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Was gunned down for no reason. So there's going to be emotions. Emotions is going to run high. You can't just expect them to just sit there and... Bravo. The fuck, man? So as you all can tell, I'm a little agitated today. But guess what? You should be too. Every last person that sees this video. I'm a people person. I love everybody. White people, black people, Mexicans, whatever. Only people I don't love is racist people. Whether you black and you racist against, white people, or vice versa. I can't stand a racist. Can't stand a hateful person, man. I don't give no damns about you being white. We need white friends. You call your white buddies, hey, man, they got me down this motherfucker, man. Oh, what the fuck, man? How much is your bond, man? It's $5,000. We're on our way. Try that with black people. Yeah, man, they got me down this motherfucker, man. Oh, for real? Shit, man, hit me back and let me know if they're going to lower your bond, man. How much is your bond? Man, my bond ain't nothing but $200. Lower it, man. Come and get a motherfucker. Need you some white buddies, man. Checks don't ever bounce. And pay you on time. Now I'm just being, silly. I'm just being silly to kind of, ease the mood, if you will. But I love everybody. I literally love everybody. But I don't love a racist. I don't love a hateful person, man. That'll just do something to somebody for no reason whatsoever. And there's never a reason to unalive somebody. Like, it has to just be something that's just over the top, just drastic. You just to be doing it. Shooting people just to be doing it, man. I can't. I'm still in shock, man. I didn't want to post the video up because YouTube is so funny. They allow certain things on YouTube, but when it comes to content creators, when we post something, we get a strike. Subject to lose our channel for 90 days. Our monetization for 90 days. Or longer. They allow everything else on YouTube to be posted, but when it comes to us posting certain things or saying certain things, we have to do it with integrity. That's just the way that it is. So I've given you all the information as far as the names or what have you. You're not familiar. Go check that case out, man. If you have any sort of empathy in your heart, or be ready to shed a tear or two if you watch it, if you haven't seen it. That lady did nothing. Nothing. Imagine that being your daughter, your mother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your best friend. Somebody that you love dearly. Just anybody, period. But I'm saying somebody that's really, really close to you. Imagine that being them. And unfortunately, at any given time, it could be them. Anytime the police is involved, man. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share this video, man. More people need to know about this. This happened like July the 6th or somewhere right around in there. And I'm just now hearing about it. Because they just now releasing the video. Like this, come on, man. This should have been talked about by every content creator. This should have just been dominating the news, man. You know what I mean? But once again, it's not. I'm shook up, man. I'm shook up right now, man. Because I have daughters. Man. And you can best believe, man, if that happens, there ain't gonna be no marching, man. Ain't gonna be no marching. You took one of mine, you got an imagination. Figure it out. Real Kens TV, man. Rest in peace, man. Sonya Massey. Praying for the family, man.